Good evening. Hello. I'm laughing at the comments because Caroline's already claiming that the Ribena that I'm drinking is wine. And it's not. It's definitely Ribena. In fact, I'd be very worried. I would be very worried if this was wine because there's a lot of it. You never know, though. It's Wednesday. So hello and evening, everybody. It is Why Not Wednesday, and I'm Sarah Gray. This is Funky Fossil. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm live every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. If I'm not here, then more often than not, the fabulous Belinda Basson is here doing demos and inspiration as well. So it's definitely worth tuning in every Wednesday to come and see what we've got up our sleeves. And this is the second time this week I've been live. I was here on Monday as well, showing you the fabulous collections that have been on Create and Craft today. And I think I'm going to have a very busy day tomorrow because they've been super popular and they got a bonus third hour. So the fabulous Leonie was demoing with the Woodcuts collection, the Hippie Chicks, the Kim Dello Fox and Hare. And she did shows at 11 a.m., 3, and then at 5 o'clock as well. So I'm a bit out of breath because I've been running around trying to sort things out behind the scenes for those shows. So I'm hoping some of you can actually still in the mood for some more Funky Fossil. This is hour number 4 today if you've been watching telly. So thank you very much for joining me. And let's say some hellos as well. Oh, God, Guinness got me. Yeah, it does. It hides the gin. That is very true. Do you know, I was saying to Mr. G that I've never had flavoured gin, but I really fancy, you see those fantastic flavours like rhubarb and ginger and kind of raspberry, etc. I'd really like some flavoured gins this summer. So yeah, on a future Why Not Wednesday, there could well be plenty of gin in my water bottle. Hi, Belinda. Lovely to see you. Karen, thank you for liking and sharing. Didn't you do a great job, Caroline? She did an amazing job. I always feel a bit guilty when I give Leonie a split counter, as in she has different products in the afternoon show to the morning show because she's super busy. And I always think, oh, that's a lot of product for her to prep with and work with. But she messaged me. She loved the products. She always loves Inskeet anyway, and she really loves the Woodcuts collection we had this morning. So yeah, I think she had a fun day with them. Maxine, lovely to see you. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Steph. Oh yes, you'll have to watch them back, Steph. They're fantastic. And Leonie was working in one of our journals. She had the Olga journal on the counter today, and I'm going to do a demo in my journal as well. And I know Belinda, when she's doing lives, is more often than not working in her journal. So definitely worth getting your hands on one of those while we still have them. The stock is now starting to run low. I got a massive quantity of stock in at the beginning of the year of the journals for our birthday effectively. So I had each of the designers put together their own cover, and I had those 4 A5 journals released as part of our birthday month in January. They're currently, I think they are still on the shop 2 for 15, which is an amazing price. And as I say, Belinda and I use them all the time. Leonie was demoing with it today, but once they're gone, I won't be replacing them. So that's why they're limited edition. Hi, Julie. Hi, Celia. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. Paul, Sophie, Helen. Oh, lovely to see you, Helen. It's been a while. Oh, it's a lot to see you on. So I'm really glad that you kind of tuned in today. Just a reminder for those of you, if you are looking for the live, Belinda can correct me on this, but if you are looking for my live on the Fun with Funky Fossil Facebook group, I think you can see it, but I don't think you can comment anymore. Just something Facebook has put in place with StreamYard means you can't, I don't think you can have a chat. I can have chat in groups. You can watch and I think comment on the Fun with Funky, no, maybe it is Jane, on the Funky Fossil page, but just not in the Facebook group. But of course, the simplest place to just come and have a chat and have a bit of banter is the YouTube channel, because I can see your names, I can see who's commenting, and I can interact with you there. So any questions, this is the best place to come. Hi Jane, lovely to see you. So that is you, Craft Knit Sew, Sophie, isn't it? Is that your other group? Oh, can they not? Oh, they can comment, but I can't see the comments. Oh, thanks, Belinda. I thought they couldn't comment at all. Ah, right. Oh, hi, Ali. Thank you for joining us. I hope today's treating you a bit better. She's still very much in recovery mode, and I know she's having up and down days with the pain, etc. So, thank you for joining us. If you're still with me, Ali, at the end of the live, no pressure. I know I send her to sleep. No pressure. I will do 2 giveaways today, so that will be 5 giveaways this week. I'm in a race with Tony from Stamps by Me as to which of us can go bankrupt soonest. So I'm going to do 2 giveaways this evening. Just if you can like and share, fabulous. I know that's not always possible. If you can't like and share, please just at least take part and comment, so I know you're on the live, and Ali knows you're on the live. And we will select 2 people. I think I'll do it a bit differently today. And I'm going to give 2 people £20 to spend in store. So rather than me selecting what you get, I will give you a code to spend in store to the value of £20. So the Woodcuts collection, for example, that went live this morning on Create and Craft, will be in store on Friday. So you'd be welcome to buy something out of that collection that appeals to you. Or I'm going to demo now with our fabulous Totally Barking collection, you know, the Zinsky art collection or stamp set. And that and the free stencil are on the shop already for £16.99. So that would get you that, for example, or anything else. The journals, you get 2 journals for that. So 2 winners, and I won't determine what you're going to get. You're just going to get a voucher. Why not Gin Wednesday? Well, maybe you could all drink the gin and I just do the demos. It might make my demos look better. You never know. It's worth a try, isn't it? So yeah, 2 giveaways tonight, and you can choose what you like. Right, now I did promise on Monday, because I only got 1 demo in because I was chattering away, and I wanted to show you all the new product that we had coming on air this week. But I'm not going to rerun all of that, because hopefully a lot of you will have been on that Monday live, or you'll have seen TV today. So I'm not going to run through the product. I just thought we'd have some fun and demo with it. And certainly I had a comment on the Monday live that I can't remember who it was, but they'd like to see me working with the barking set, the Zinsky dog. So I'm going to start with that, but I also do have another demo with the Woodcuts collection if I have time. So we'll see. I can see you all taken with the why not gin idea. I see. So I get where you're coming from. So I'm going to turn the the camera around, and I will remove my big jar of Ribena from the shop. Have a quick slurp. Very warm. It has been a running around the kind of afternoon. What was I going to say then? I can't remember. Oh yes, and so that means I did want to say, in case you're waiting for an order that you place, I got most of the weekend orders where we had that free postage offer dispatched, and they've gone. I've got a few left to do, and I didn't get to the post office this afternoon just because of the 5 o'clock show. Meant I kind of missed my window to get out and post those, so they'll go tomorrow. So if you are waiting on an order from me, and it literally is only, I think it was 7 or 8, I will be getting those in the first class post tomorrow. So I'm hoping you'll all have your crafty goodies to play with by the weekend. That's what I wanted to mention. I felt bad about not getting to the post office. I think I will be busy tomorrow, Steph, packing the orders. That may be when I'll need the gin, to be quite honest. So let's have some playtime. I haven't had enough time to craft this week, so I've been looking forward to this. So I have got, standing up, that's scraping here. I've got my Zinsky journal. So this is the journal that I've been creating in with my stamps and designs from Eleanor. And you don't need to keep the journal specific to the designer, but I thought it was quite a cute idea to do, and that's one we did with the book that Eleanor's brought out, the Journal Girls book. I've still got one or two of those left, so I just cut out the face and used it on some pattern paper. So I'm going to use a new page in my Zinsky journal, and what I thought I'd do, we've got these fantastic characters with the dogs. They really will make you smile, and we've got a really long sausage dog here. You've got your pugs, you've got I love this one wearing his stripy jumper. So what I thought I would do today was create a little bit of a kind of a tower of them, or having them all balancing on top of each other. It's a nice way to kind of get lots of the characters onto the same page. So I've already stamped and cut masks for them. I've used the Clarity, and I know I often say this is what I use, and I don't ever seem to have it next to me, but Clarity Stamps, fantastic company. They have this this is what they make their own masks out of for their stamps, but they also sell them as blank sheets. And the nice thing about them is they're kind of slightly plastic in finish, so you can use inks, you can use sprays over the top, and unlike some other kind of masking sheets where maybe it's slightly porous and you can get some bleed through, these are very good at kind of protecting what's underneath. The other really good thing about them is they are very reusable. You can keep them for quite a long while. They're really good quality in terms of their stick. So I've made a series of masks, so you can see where I'm thinking of going. So I'll start with my sausage dog at the bottom because he's a great base, and then we can have our round bouncy dog on top of him, and then we can I just wanted to make sure that all my dogs will fit. If I actually put them that way, I'll have this dog at a quirky angle, and then this dog who looks suspiciously to me like he's having a pee right at the top. So that's what we're going for. So I'm going to stamp these down, then I'm going to mask them off, and then we can do a little bit of just background stenciling because of course our characters will be protected. So we can do it all as one layer. The other way, of course, you can do, and I do lots, will be to stamp, colour and cut these out separately and then just stick them on. So you don't need to do this approach. It's just, I think it's quite nice to have everything as a single surface. Occasionally to do it like that is really cool. He does though, Caroline, doesn't he? So you're laughing at my dog cocking his leg? Yeah, I mean I do use post-its as well. Certainly, Jane, certainly if I'm it's a one and done, and I don't think I'm going to use them again, I will use post-it notes, but I have typically found that I lose them, or the tack doesn't stay for long, or of course you've only got that top end that's got the sticky on it. So I do quite like to have the Clarity ones. They are of course a lot more expensive than post-it notes, mind. Now of course remember you've got your spiral edge on down the side of this journal. So I have positioned my sausage dog at the end of the acrylic block, so I'm not going to be fighting with my spiral. Can you all hear and see me okay, by the way? I'm assuming from the comments you can. So yeah, he's going to be carrying some wiggliness, isn't he? Now I don't really need to mask these as I go. If I was doing a masked scene where I wanted to have, for example, this dog as the foreground, but maybe have some flowers behind him, then I would need to be masking him to ensure that he stayed at the front of the design. Because I'm stacking these up, they actually probably don't really need to be masked because I'm not really placing any images in the fore and background. But as I've got the stamps made, the masks made, let's do this as we go. But the masks really are just going to be more handy on this occasion for our background. That makes sense. The other thing, and you'll all know this because you're experienced stampers and crafters, but of course the other thing I typically do when I'm making a mask is obviously stamp the image onto copy paper, and when I'm cutting around it with the mask on top, I try and cut really almost within the line so that it reduces the potential. Let's put him back on his thing. It reduces the potential for having that kind of white halo around him where the mask is bigger than the stamped image. Guarantee, if you try and do this live, you can never get a mask to fit back onto the image you've stamped. It's just somehow, it's just the law that the mask never seems to, you cut it perfectly, but it just never seems to fit when you want it to. So here we go, let's go for this one. So these stamps, I think, did we release them at the weekend? Was it just the weekend? And they've been super popular. I was cutting more of the dog bone stencils today. Well, I've just not followed my own advice there, haven't I? So this is an inky stamp. So of course, it should have placed him to the edge of my acrylic block rather than the center, because of course the center was meaning I was going to have it overhanging here, whereas now he's on the edge of the acrylic block. I can stamp him. This is going to be a messy business, I can tell. It seems so straightforward in my head. Isn't that life? So I'm going to have this little guy at a quirky angle. You've got your mask in place, so where there's any overlap of the images, that's this image will now appear to be behind the one at the bottom. And then let's mask him off. I think Ali's going to take a little bit of while to be properly better. Yeah, that's a good shout as well, using stencil spray on the back of printer paper, Ali. That's a good one. I mean, we all know, aren't we, don't we? There are always workarounds, I think I'm not, as you've heard me say many a time, I'm not a great fan of fussy cutting. So anything that's going to minimize the number of times I need to fussy cut an image is always going to be my preferred option. So the longevity of these masks always makes me feel like it was worth cutting them out. Let's see, we're going to put this character, put him on, or have I missed one? No, I don't think I have. I think we're going to put him next. And we can have a bit of overlap because that paw there is going to go behind his ear. So he can be sat right on his head. I hope Mr. Earwig's not watching this, Julie. Which is the image. So the only one of this stamp set that I'm not going to use in this dog pyramid is this character, and it's really more because he looks like he's kind of walking along, so I didn't think he would quite fit. Oh, remember where you put it on the acrylic block, Sarah? Let's put him over here. No, I can't fussy cut, Bev. Belinda would tell me to get a brother scan and cut because that takes all that pain out of it for you. Yeah, let's have him. I'll have that little paw behind his ear. Sitting on her head. Oscar, my dog, gets in a real peeve when I go live because the door closes on him. I normally open the door after a live and he's sat right up against it. Wants to get in on the action. Let's get this one. She's got two scan and cut machines. Oh. So do you use those then, Sophie? Is that what, do you go around there and get her to cut your images for you? It's a bit far for me to go over to Belinda's. I might be able to pop over to your mum's though. There we go. I think that's covered. Last one. And this, he really makes me laugh. This one is just his eyes. Ellen has a way of creating really manic looking eyes. Really? Crikey. That's one very, very determined cat. Yes. I haven't really got Oscar into crafting yet. His main hobby is chasing tennis balls and trying to trip people up with them on the stairs. So now I'm going to cover all of this dog as well, but when we uncover them at the end, hopefully what we'll see is that the things like this paw here, let me show you, is now going to be behind the dog's head, so you've not got, it would look fine on the dog's head because they're all standing on top of each other, but if you were looking to create that masked effect where these are all sitting behind each other, then that's how you would achieve it. But now I'm just wanting to protect them from my inking. Oh, and have you seen as well on the Facebook group, Ali has posted our May challenge, which is summer colours, really, shades of summer it's called. I appreciate we've not yet even approached spring temperatures, but I hope that maybe using warmer colours on our projects would make us all feel a bit better. So that's the challenge for May. Carol won the April challenge. I'm losing my months. I don't know if she's on tonight, but she's been in touch and got her voucher for to spend in the shop for April. So there's a voucher for £25 up for grabs. And you can enter the challenge on the Facebook group. I think it's up to 3 times in the month. Yeah, I love to do this, Sarah, with lots of characters, is to stack them all up, whether it's birds or the cats or whatever it is. I always just think it just makes me smile to have them as a little pyramid. So I thought we'd use the dog bone stencil that comes free with the A5 stamp set as our kind of our background, because it's all kind of, they're all going in different directions, the dog bones, so it will give a nice bit of movement behind the dogs. So let's add a little bit of ink around the edges of the page, and then we'll add the stencil detail. Now, with these masked off, if I had drying time, I could of course use paste on the stencil, because of course these would all come away and be clear. The only thing, of course, if you did use paste over your masks, it's a bit more tricky to obviously clean them off again for future use. But you could use your sprays. Belinda's shown us a lot how beautifully these papers take spray, so that would be another great way of getting a lot of colour down quickly. Oh, God, I like that pun. I'm going to use that on a future stamp set, Steph. I like it. A pause. So I'm going to use Salvage Patina here. My blending brush, you can see, has obviously had a darker blue on it, so I may well get a stronger colour than I would do normally from Salvage Patina, but that really isn't going to matter. Let me just get a bit of cardstock to... I don't really need to do this either, but just in terms of protecting the sheet underneath from ink. I know, I'm sure she's still here, but I know Belinda's been adhering pages together because you probably aren't going to need all the pages that come in this journal. So that's another way, if you do get kind of inks or paste or things kind of coming onto the back of the page, you shouldn't get bleed. It doesn't typically bleed through, but if for any reason you get mess on the back, then just stick 2 pages together. Right, I added some Salvage Patina inside. So this is my typical way of just adding something around the edge of the page, so we're not dealing with a white edge. Draw also design in. I often do it with my card fronts as well. And having that blue just down here as well is going to ground our bottom dog. So, of course, it's a bank holiday weekend this weekend. So, have you all got plans, family, gardening? Hopefully, good things happening. You're crafting now, are you, Helen? Oh, yes, you got a puppy, haven't you? Oh, bless Kath. How many dogs do you have? I'm not sure we could. I'd like to have another dog, but I think Oscar's become a bit of a spoiled only child. So I've gone in there quite a bit. It's definitely got some. I think it might be Uncharted Mariner is the colour that was on this brush already, because it's definitely a deeper blue than you get with just pure Salvage Patina, but that's quite useful actually. Now, should have put a little bit over our pups just to give them a bit of shading around the edge. Let's do that. Not masses. The other nice thing with this, it's like I'm trying to sell this masking, these masking sheets. All I was going to say is that the slightly plasticated finish of them means both good and bad. Is of course if you stamp on them and you've already the ink doesn't dry. So if you then go on and blend over the top, just be aware you may have wet black ink resting on the masking surface. So just be aware you could sometimes pull that through when you're inking over the top. But then the good side of it is, of course, when you're doing something like this, you can start by inking onto here and then pull your ink out so you don't go in too heavy. I like using a stencil, really. There we go. Right. Let's add some crazy dog bones. Now, I think I'll go with I think I'll go with the hickory smoke for my dog bones. The reason being, I think with these being Zinski dogs, I'm gonna colour them quite bright colours. So best keep the background erring towards the neutrals, I think. I keep meaning to bring more blending brushes up here from downstairs, but I'm going to go in with one that's obviously had brown on it. Should be fine with the grey. Whatever it gives me, it will be a neutral. This actually it's still very brown. So let's go with that. Really isn't going to matter. It would be perfect, Caroline, if it came out on the brush, but it's going to come out brown. Oh, hi, Jan. Lovely to see you. Oh, dog show. What's the forecast? I haven't even seen what the forecast is for the weekend, actually, Steph. Oops. Wally. I haven't got that far for the forecast. I was hoping to get in the garden, which looks like a jungle. Oh, I hope I haven't smudged that too much. Let's see. And you can see here, I mean, obviously I've got a stencil over the top. I'm being relatively rough, fairly firm with this brush and stencil. I'm not too worried about my masks moving. Right, that's so cool. I'm thinking even that you could leave the dogs black and white, given we've got quite a busy background going on. So we'll see what we think once we take this take the masks off. Again, with this, it's not going to matter too much if the two parts of the stenciling cover each other and you get a bit of overlap. It is one of the joys, and I think they said this on air with the Hippie Chicks collection today, that the joy of working with Eleanor's artwork is it does free you up. It doesn't matter too much. So I've got a bit of, I reckon that there is where I'm going to be putting my sentiment. So I'm not going to worry now about the trying to make that stenciling look a bit more joined up. So let's take, my favourite bit is always to take the mask off and see what has occurred, because I think it's great to get the crisp image coming back through. I won't take your vest off just yet. I think I won't do that before September, Caroline. Oh, Glynis, you're all on top punning form today. Oh, I love this. I'm kind of tempted now. We'll take a vote. I like to take a vote. Well, I quite like having them just in the black and white, because I just think they really, really pop against the background. What do you think? With the sentiment. Dilemmas. I was going to do them lots of colours, but now I'm feeling like they're more in the foreground because they're not colourful. Hiya, Paul. It is fun, isn't it? Yeah, I think the white does look good. Let me put my sentiment on, because I do have another demo I want to do with the cool woodcuts. So my gut feel, unless I'm overruled by my lovely crew, is what I'll probably do with some pencils is maybe add a few bits of colour, maybe around the eyes, cheeks, maybe the collar, just a little bit of colour on each of them, but not the whole image. Honestly, dilemmas are just... Let's put dogs are my favourite peeps as a sentiment, because I think that kind of works with this crew. I don't need to worry about stamping this onto a separate piece of card to stick it in, because my Shonky stenciling has left me with a perfect space for my sentiment to go. It's all meant to be. I should drink Ribena when crafting more often, obviously. Yeah, the sausage dog is just fantastic. And I think, as I was saying with that sample we had from Brian earlier in the week, I think it's a great one for just having a wrapping it around the card, so you kind of keep going and create rows. And I really want to put in a stripy jumper as well, now that these are dogs got a stripy jumper. Dogs are my favourite peeps. Of course, if I do misstamp this, it will go on a piece of card. We're fine. We're fine. So what's everyone saying? Shall we leave our acrobatic dogs as they are? And I'll just add a little bit of colour later on. Probably. Everyone's trying to make me drink gin. Probably a bit of shading down one side, as Belinda shows us. If you do shading on one side, one or the other, then you're always going to get that consistent look. You think just add colour to jacket? Well, I'm going to leave it. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Leave. Do you mean just leave? Just go. I'm going to leave it as it is for now, and have a bit of faffing time, and I'll post it on the group later. So that's what come out really well. I'm really pleased with that. As a little journal page that I've done quickly. Right. Yeah, I think that Celia, just colouring the eyes and cheeks, maybe the dog collar, just a little hint on each of them of colour. Jane, you had to do what? Oh, you had to buy the dogs. I think you had to go and buy some dogs. I'm thinking, crikey, that's an extreme life choice to make just because I've stamped some on a page. But you bought the stamps. You were gem. Thank you. Right. Shall we? You all right, Belinda? All right. I'm going on. I'm moving on. Honestly. I'm going to start heckling Belinda like this when she's live. So I think that's a cool page, and I can do a little bit more to it at my leisure. But let's do something with these woodcuts, because one of the samples that was on the counter today was one that I'd done, and I really like it. And I got to take a photo of it before I sent them down to studio. So I'm just going to do it again here in my journal. Oh, maybe I should change journals from my Zinsky journal to my everything else journal, which is also a Zinsky journal. Unlike my Belinda journal, so I've got my Belinda journal, but that won't be used now for this one. So here's the journal that I used. I did our pandas, and I had a little bit of a play at Port Sunlight with our mad scientist. So this is the journal I'm going to use for our... It sounds like a really... I don't mean it the way it sounds, but for our non-core designers. So for the things that I do is like one-offs, or with designers like Mabson Wall, and maybe like Kim Dello, where I don't do collections as regularly as I do with Belinda and Olga and Eleanor. So and Claire. So what I want to do on this one, I'm having to open up another stamp set, so I left the stamps that I took in Spain. You do need them, Jane. You know you need them. So let's just remember to try and keep this towards the edge of the acrylic block, because I'm going to stamp directly onto. I'm going to stamp into the center of this page. We're going to have our fabulous cat in the center of the page. We've done dogs, and now we're going to do cats. Feels very democratic. I'm going to clear heat emboss our cats. Because I want to do something over the top of him, and the clear heat embossing will seal that and act as a resist. There's another thing I do want to do with these woodcut stamps. I won't do it tonight. Which is, I think we saw from some of the samples that were on air, is do that multicolored inking onto the stamps, because they're big size. So it'd be great to get a different, kind of oranges and yellows on the image and stamp it like that. Probably use a stamping platform for that, just to keep going, so I get a nice blend. This is a new stamp, but I haven't primed it, so I'm keeping everything crossed that it's going to stamp perfectly first time, because obviously I'm in the journal, so can't necessarily stamp it with a stamp platform. This is another example of a project though, where you could totally stamp and cut these out and then stick them onto your project. So you don't need to stamp directly into your journal if you don't want to. One of the things I like about stamping into a journal like this is, of course, you've got a bit of an inbuilt cushion with the pages that are beneath, as long as you've not used them. Obviously, if you've been using pages and you're going backwards and forwards, then you will have potentially an uneven surface that you're stamping onto. So that's also something to bear in mind when you're stamping into your journals. Right, I'm giving this enough time to soak in to the paper. So it's not come out quite as solidly as I'd like, but we'll heat emboss it anyway. These are great images. And one of the things that I've been doing as well, when I've been stamping them onto pattern papers, of course, because you've got these cutout areas in the stamps, you can either leave that so that the image or the paper shows through, or just go in with a white gel pen and just block that out, so it still looks like you have stamped it on a separate layer to the pattern paper, because they're very easy cutout areas to fill in with the white. Let me just get a bit of card here. So this is a VersaFine, so it dries fairly quickly, but hopefully I've got my powder down quite quickly too. It's a clear powder, so it's not really going to matter. If I'd forgotten to use my anti-static, it wouldn't make a huge, oops, excuse me, hit my mic. It wouldn't make a huge difference. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Ali. I know you've been saying it's been a bit up and down recently. Right, apologies for the noise. It won't take long to heat emboss this. So the other thing I was going to say, with this being a solid image, if you do stamp in black and you don't get the depth of coverage you would like, You can, of course, always go back in with a black pen and colour it in because it's a nice solid image. If you've not used a stamping platform, and can't immediately go back in and reapply the ink. But actually that's looking quite nice and solid, isn't it? And of course the clear embossing ink just gives it that nice gloss finish. So what was I going to do? I was going to use our fabulous, this was one of the stencils on the show. I think I said this at the beginning, did I? Apologies if I didn't. But everything will be live on my shop from Friday, and that will include the 4 for 3 of stencils, and equally the stencils individually. So if there's one that caught your eye on the counter today, but you don't want to invest in 4, then you can always get them individually from me. So I'm going to add some ink around our cat, and then I was going to use the mandala to add a little bit of detailing around him. And what I like about the mandala is I feel it kind of echoes this kind of design within the cat itself. Let's go with some warm colours here. Yes, very elegant cats. I find cats quite intimidating, I will be honest. I'm definitely a dog person. I feel like cats are judging me. It's all a bit much. So oh, Heart of Vines, yes, it's a lovely one. Did you see the demo Leonie did with that in the final hour, the 5 o'clock hour? This has had pink raspberry on it. I'm going into abandoned coral, so still warm colours, but a bit more of the pink may come through. This abandoned coral is super juicy as well. Now, I'm not going to worry about inking over our cat because we know we've got the embossing powder on there. So we'll be able to remove that if we don't want it on the main body of the cat, obviously not in the areas that are open. I just want to create a nice glow around him. And one thing I did in my sample, I might be able to do it here as well, is obviously I put all the colours, I think I did it with blues and purples. I put the colours around the cat, and of course it then colours the eyes. And if you end up with eyes that maybe looks like demonic or aren't quite what you want, then you can either, because this is distressing, you can lift it with water, go in with a water brush and pull that colour back up, or as we were saying before, go back in with a white gel pen and just reapply that white where you want it to be. So these are really, really forgiving images to work with. You can either stamp them on top of a really kind of bright, vibrant background that you've already made, or you can even, as I'm doing here, create the colour around them once they're stamped on. So I'm using some spice marmalade here. And then I thought I'd use a bit of fossilized amber, just to give us that warm haze. And I'm not trying here to ink all the way to the edge of my page. I could change my mind on that and go around the edges with ink like I've done, like I typically do. Is my typical default is to ink around the edge and pull the eye in. But on this occasion, I want the kind of the main image to be to burst out really from the center. Let's use some fossilized amber. Just to sort of take that colour out slightly more. Could even do some splatters, couldn't we? Given this has got a good amount of ink on. Do a bit of distress splattering. I think there's so much orange and pink, orange and coral on here that fossilized amber isn't showing much at all, is it? So this is one of those where I say, so we're going to leave the colour and leave it white around the edges, and then my inking just goes further and further and further away till the whole page is covered. Reapply the strength of that coral in the middle. So the paper in these journals just takes ink beautifully. The blend you can get without worrying. It looks quite cool, doesn't it? Let's add a little bit of splatter. I do have some kitchen towel here too. And then we can add our stenciling. This is really, really quick and oops, some big splats there. Crikey, it's a rainstorm. So we'll leave it a second just to lift while I mop it up. I may have been slightly overzealous there, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to stencil over the top as well. So none of this is going to, all of this is going to add to the texture. None of it's going to, you see how much water I've got on there? Been in a wash. Let me show you as well. The only thing, if you're going to lift the distress ink from within the cat, you still need to do that while it's relatively, so I've got a water brush here, just really kind of putting a lot of water on because the area around it is embossed. It's not going to cause any issues. And then I'm just going to let that water activate a little bit. We can do this as well. Let me show you in a bigger area. So this is a cool, I do like this as an effect, even if it's never going to go back to white, but it just to give you a bit of variation in your image. And you just can keep going back. And that will make it easier to go over it with a white gel pen if you want to, because you've got less ink down ready for the gel pen to activate. Sometimes you get that where the white gel is just takes on the colour of what's underneath it. But can you see the difference there just from lifting the ink? So, but again, in my experience, don't wait until you finish the whole project and try and do it, because once that distress ink has dried, I'm not saying it's permanent, it's always water reactive, but less will lift. If you really want to pull it back, do it while it's still damp, still active on your surface. So let's add our stenciling. Oh, he's not. I don't think he is on. He's just taking the dog out, Jane. Not Jane, Ali. Does he need to look? What do he need to look for something? Have you sent him a message? I'll check in a second. So now that I've lifted that colour out of the eye, I am now trying to avoid stenciling back over it. So this is tone on tone stenciling. One thing I was playing around with in my mind would be, of course, if you wanted to create a line there, then you could have half of this underneath him. So it's like he's sitting on a rug. So that'd be another nice way of playing with this. But I'm going with the stronger of the three colours just so that it will pop a little bit more against the inking that's already down. Oh, that's cool, doesn't it? So I don't think I'm going to add anything on these two ends here. Let's just, oh, you see, look, I've inked into a nice flower. Let's see if I can lift that as well. I might be chancing my arm a little bit. Shoot, what's that been in? wasn't the brush I just used, was it? I'm going to end up creating a hole in this. Lifted. Oh, salvaged. Don't know what was on that other brush. Right, so let's give our cat a sentiment. It's one of our older stencils, Kath, but it is I have to say it is a perennial because it's called Leafy Mandala, because it's got those leaf designs within it. It is one you'll find will work with so many other things. It looks fantastic on a project just with sentiment in the middle. It's a really cool one. So let's put have a perfect day. But again, this is in a journal. I'm not necessarily sending it to anybody, so it's just a message to myself, and then I'll let you go. Now, where do we put this? Do we put this here? I can't really put it there. It would have to go under here, and that feels like it's hanging too far down. I think I'm going to put it just above the cats. Blacking, there it is. What would have been a right giggle? I'll have to look back now and see. Right. This has got a really nice simple font to it. I just thought the simplicity of the stamps, I wanted to just have something that was almost fairly neutral as a font for the sentiments. So you'll find there are sentiments here that will work, like special friend and sending hugs, that you can use with lots of designs you already have. Although I'm tempted to put this little guy on. No, I won't put him on. The little guy holding the flower, I think is really cute. Right, but I'm going to leave that there because what I'm probably going to do is probably do some splatters. I end every live with that, don't I? I'm going to add some splatters, probably in these colours, just to again to kind of extend that colour out a little bit, but not but leave that white around the edge. But I think that's a really nice simple design. You see, we pulled back the white inside the cat where we wanted it to, but because it's embossed, we could ink over the top and not worry about losing that vibrancy. Just that bit of stenciling moving out from within him, I think echoes that nicely. And it wasn't in this journal, was it? And then we did our Tower of Dogs. So Cats and Dogs Day today with just the contrast of those two. Isn't that fun? So you've got your really mad Zinsky dogs all over the shop, chaos personified, and you have an elegant cat reclining. I think that just about sums them up. So hopefully there's something there that makes you smile and that you can see yourself doing. Really simple techniques, as you can imagine. I think the dogs, I say, with the masking, the only real benefit on this occasion of that masking was to be able to ink the background. But it's so much, I love masking stamps. I just think it's so cool, the different effects you can create. So is Ali still here on the live, and is she able to give us some names? Oh, she is. The names of 2 winners for £20 vouchers to spend in the shop. And I'll put these the dogs win, didn't they, Julie? You're not biased at all here. I'll put images of these in the Facebook group. Tomorrow I will be packing orders from today's shows, and thank you to all of you who have ordered from those. You'll be able to find the new collections in store from Friday. And yeah, and hopefully it's been a fabulous week of Funky Fossil for you. Of course, I'll be back. Well, actually, I might. I don't know. I haven't decided, but I might release a very, very cute little collection at the weekend, with it being a bank holiday weekend. I haven't decided yet. But I'll be around over the weekend and taking part. Oh, I know he bottled it. He did bottle it. He reckoned he's going to be the next Tim Holtz, but he didn't do a live at all, did he, Caroline? What can I say? Oh, you sent two names to Steve. Oh, right. I see, Ali. That's really cool. Right. Okay. Well, yeah, because Ali wasn't on the live on Monday. Sleeping on the job, wasn't she? So I'll check the names that she's messaged us. Oh, where have you sent the names to, Ali? Can I see the message? Messages. No. I can't see the messages, so I will check in with Mr. G when I get off air and put the names in the Facebook group straight away, so you know who's won. So I'm going to have to leave you in suspense for a little bit longer, but not much longer. Go on, Ali, announce them. Just tell us who it is. He is sacked, Caroline. I sack him every day, but he somehow believes he lives here, so I can't get rid of him. Totally is hard to get good help these days, Belinda. I do know exactly what you mean. I know you've had more than enough of me this week, haven't you, Sarah? I think I don't want to try my luck and be around too much. He's always in trouble, Belinda. That's his permanent state. Is this a message from Al? Ah, here she goes. Ali, these names are absolutely fine. Oh, I didn't even know Sue was on. Sue Rousson. So our two winners tonight are Sue Rousson and Celia Jane Lithgow. So congratulations to both of you. If you can message me, or I will message you, but I'll certainly get in touch with the code that you can use to spend £20 in store. As always with my codes, it doesn't have an expiry date, so you hang on to it until you see something you really want to buy. If I've not already tempted you with the woodcuts and the barking, then I'm sure there'll be something in the future that you might want to spend £20 on. So congratulations, that's Sue Rousson and Celia Jane Lithgow. Congratulations, both of you. I've had an hour. I've already taken up more than enough of your time this week, but I am super grateful for it, as always. Thank you for the fun and the laughter. You really do make me giggle. And yeah, I'll be around. You'll see something Funky Fossil related over the weekend. I'm fairly sure of that. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay warm if you're not already, and take care. I shall see you very, very soon.